Hey YouTube, POD7 here. Today we're going to take a look at Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers. It's an Xbox Live Arcade game, and it's based off of the incredibly popular trading card game. And yeah, this is my first Xbox 360 video since I got it in February of 2011. And it's just going to be kind of an introductory video. I'm thinking about doing videos for each of the decks that you can unlock, including the DLC, but we'll see how it goes. Because there's sometimes in Magic you just get screwed over, and I don't want to lose on camera. So this is just kind of the intro video, just to show, you know, you got creatures, you got spells, all kinds of ridiculous spells in this game. I probably won't be showing off too many artifacts because I suck at playing with them, because I always forget like how much they cost to play and stuff like that. So this is Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers. Tons of options here, at least compared to some arcade games. I'm just going to pick I don't want to play this deck. Basically, okay, the red deck is direct damage, white deck is a lot of blocking and stuff, which we'll get into eventually. Green is big power. Basically all your creatures do big damage and you can boost their damage. Blue deck is pretty much counter attacks and stuff like that. Black deck is a life draining deck. Black-green is elves. As you can see, Years of the Elves. That's a pretty cool deck. Probably get into that later. Yeah. Scales of Fury is a pretty... It's a really 50-50 deck. We'll get to that later too. Mind of Void is the first DLC deck. It's basically concentrates on taking your opponent's cards away from them. It has a card called Traumatize, and you cut their deck in half. So you'll see. Cries of Rage, not one of my favorite decks for sure. Relics of Doom is an artifact heavy deck, so that one might be a while off if I decide to go through all the decks, do videos for each of the decks. Heat of Battle is another direct damage deck, but it's more based on just straight up direct damage. There's hardly any decent creatures in it. Eons of Evil is an evil deck, as it says. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but basically everything is made to kill you. Heart of Worlds is a landfall deck, which means that every time you play a land, your creatures and enchantments will have an ability go off. Now we're into the third DLC, Weapons of the Warrior is an equipment deck. Roots of the Firemind is kind of direct damage and counter, kind of a mix between the two. It's a really cool deck. And the final one is a vampire deck, which it's okay. I'm not a big fan of some of the cards in it, but one of those decks where if you get a lucky hand, you'll win the match pretty fast. I'm trying to see what I want to demo first, just to go through the game. I started Magic playing on a solid green deck, so I'm going to go with that. And we're going to play the block deck because, or in Magic it's known as a condom deck because it's all about protection, but I call it a block deck because condom's kind of vulgar. I'm playing the white deck because some of the cool green cards, they take a while to play. And yeah, you'll see. And this big guy isn't in this deck despite being green. He's in the gosh, what was Path of Vengeance or something like that? Whatever the first deck was. I didn't hardly play it at all, so just enough to unlock all the cards. Those are mana. That's what you use to play the cards. Okay, this is a troll aesthetic. Those symbols up at the top are how much mana you have to play. The 1, that means you can play any color of mana for that amount of cost. The numbers in the bottom right corner, it goes attack, toughness, so he can do 3 damage and he can have 2 damage done to him. This particular creature, he can't be the target of spells or abilities, and he can regenerate, which we'll get into later in this match probably. There you go, top right hand corner, this guy costs 6 mana to play, so we won't be able to play him theoretically until the 6th turn. He's a 6/6, he has trample, which means any damage not done to a creature that's blocking to him will keep going and hit the opponent's life points. Which when you're doing one-on-one, it's 20 life points, hit points, whatever you want to call it. Unless you have a life-gaining card, then you can keep going up into infinity, as far as I know. That worm was a 7/7 worm with trample. This guy, at the beginning of each turn, he sprouts a 1/1 token creature, which I'm not a big fan of him, but I just didn't take him out of this deck. So let's go ahead and go. Yeah, the white deck will almost always play a creature on the first turn because all their creatures cost like 1 mana to play. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's a DLC card. It's a 3/2, which means it does 3 damage and can take 2 damage. And it has trample, which is one of the best abilities in the game as far as I'm concerned, and it only costs 2 mana. So it's a pretty big beefcake of a creature. Okay, now we're getting into flying creatures. That's a 1/1 bird. It's flying, so I can't block it because it can just fly over me. But it can block me. So there are some creatures in this deck that can block those, but I'm not sure if we'll get them because there's just so many cards in this deck. That's my favorite card right there, Grizzly Bears, because I won my first game of Magic ever with a Grizzly Bear attack. So that's kind of my inside joke with all my friends. So most of the time in this particular video game, the first time you attack, they'll almost never block, I've found, just because they're not worried about it. And most of the time, you want to let the first one go through because it's not a big deal. You don't want to lose your creatures too early. That's a Youthful Knight. He's 2/1 and he has first strike, which means if you block him or if he blocks you, he gets to hit first. And if he does enough damage to you to kill you, you will die without being able to hit him. Play our troll there. Let's see. I think we'll hold off this turn. They've got 17, we've got 18, okay. They're gonna start swinging away here because they've got a pretty good advantage. We don't have enough mana to regenerate the troll, so we just gotta take the damage like a man. Oh, nice. This is a great card to have for this deck. Most of the white deck's creatures, she has a ton of flying creatures. And this card, basically, you can pay as much mana as you have into it, and you can do that much damage, and it'll do it to flying creatures and each player. So if she had had all flying creatures, I would have just done 2 damage to all of them. And now, since their Youthful Knight is tapped, which means it can't block, we can swing away and do 6 damage, I believe. 8 damage, whatever. Okay, now he's gonna swing because I'm all tapped out. And tapped is after you attack or use an ability, you'll tap your card to the side, and you won't be able to use them for the rest of the turn unless they have. Oh my god. Angel of Mercy. Okay, she has flying, and when she enters the battlefield, the controller gains 3 life. And she has several cards like that. I think there's a monk card where she gains 3 life as well. And that's why it takes so long to beat this deck sometimes, because she just keeps playing those and playing those. I did that on accident. Oh crap. I hate that card. I didn't get to it fast enough to show it, but basically it gave it. Normally it would give any creature flying and a +3/+3 bonus to their attack and defense. So I just got spanked pretty hard for 6 damage there. This is a Angelic Wall. It's a defender, so it can't attack, but it can block. That's why they always have higher defense. Oh, thank goodness we got another mana. So now we can play this. It's just a one-time burn card, and you get 8 life. So that was definitely needed just then. Well, should we hold off this turn? We'll attack with the troll. I don't know. Oh crap! Hit the wrong button. Yep. Now you'll see first strike in action here. See, even though the troll was a 3/2, the youthful knight, excuse me, had first strike. So he did his 2 damage to me before I could do 3 damage to him. I'm not going to block either of these just because if I can get 1 more mana on the next turn, I can play one of my huge creatures and we'll be okay from there on out probably. And look at that, Yu-Gi-Oh! Right there, heart of the cards. So we're going to play Vigor. His special ability, he has Trample, but other than that, anytime you attack or anytime damage will be done to a creature, instead of being damaged, it'll gain a 1/1 counter for each point of damage that would be done to it. And you'll probably get to see that here in a second if I get to block now. Probably have to wait till next turn when I attack. That's also a nice card. It's a 4/5, just a huge beast, 4/5 beast. For 3 mana, which is a really good price. That kind of card is really helpful to have on your your 3rd turn, because most creatures that can be played within the first 4 turns have 2 health or 2 attack at the most. So, and right there, the youthful knight attacked my grizzly bear, and so instead of being a 2/2, now he's got 2 counters on him. So now he's a 4/4. So he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and oh god. I'm down to 3 health, they're down to 5. Oh, awesome. Just got a good one. So we're going to swing away here with everybody. This is Giant Growth. You pay 1 mana and target creature gets a 3/3 until the end of turn. I have enough creatures to kill him anyway, but we're just going to be a douche and pump somebody just to humiliate them even more. So we won. He's got -12 health, and I survived with 3. And that's kind of how Magic goes a lot of the time. You can get down to 1 health, and if you draw just the right card, you can take them down from max health in 2 or 3 turns sometimes. So yeah, this is the campaign mode. I've beaten everybody in this. I think I have 2 other co-op campaign guys to beat, but this is Sarkhan the Mad. He's the only deck that you fight against in the game that you can't unlock, and it's probably going to be in the sequel to this game that's supposed to be coming out later this year. But anyway, that's my intro to Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers for Xbox Live Arcade, and we'll see you guys later.